Welcome advocates to another MCH regional interview. My name is Rhonda Otteson with the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless. And with me, I have Kelsey Vosika, who is the Executive Director of Family Promise of Kandiyohi County. Welcome, Kelsey.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be able to have this talk with you and talk about some of the issues that we have surrounding homelessness.
Yeah, well, let's do that. The first question, tell me a little bit more about the stigma that you see from people who come to you to ask for help.
Well, we battle the stigma that people have around families that are suffering from homelessness every day. We see it with all the families that come to us. There's this idea that homeless people, they have done wrong actions, or they've not been responsible, or things haven't really gone well to their own fault. That's something that we battle consistently. And as someone that's been working with struggling families for quite a while now, it's definitely not something that we see on our end. And that's something I'm always trying to get out there so that we realize that having housing for a family, it's such a foundation for families to be successful in all the other areas of their life. If you don't have housing, you cannot wake up and go to work. If you don't have housing, you cannot raise your kids well. You cannot do all the things that you are capable of doing and are basically a human right in order to do them. So the stigma surrounding them is something that we really, as an advocate for homelessness services and helping families out of those struggling times, is to just completely get rid of that stigma that is out there and be a helping hand instead of a judging one. We all have a judging part of us. It's something that's kind of based in human nature, but in order for us to help families really get through the barriers that they're facing and improve their lives and improve their children's lives and make sure that our kids go on to be very productive members of society, we simply need to have that stigma removed so that we can be in the right mindset to be helping where people need help.
Well, I want to thank you for talking about that and sharing that, because the more we talk about the stigma that is related to homelessness and people experiencing homelessness, the more we break that down. And, being a fellow person from West Central, Southwest Minnesota, I'm from Willmar too. And, I think you and I chatted a little bit about people still ask us, are there really people experiencing homelessness in Willmar? And what's the answer to that?
Mm-hmm.
It's yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kelsey, you've been engaged in our shelter supporter campaign here at MCH. Tell me a little bit about why you got involved with that.
So I got involved with the shelter supporter campaign because in our line of work running a homeless shelter, it became super clear the consequences of homelessness on society as a whole. It's a foundational aspect that if we cannot make sure that families and individuals, not even just families, are housed, we can't make sure that people can be productive members of society. We can't make sure that our children are educated. There are so many consequences to this one issue, and it's a root issue that kind of branches off into so many other consequences and negative impacts on our society as a whole and the people that we live and how we operate. So it became very apparent very quickly. I haven't been involved for very long. It's been about a year. But it didn't take long for me to realize, hey, this is a really big problem. And it's one of those problems that when you can get to the root of this particular problem, you have helped in so many different other aspects of someone's life. It has a kind of a boomerang effect on their work, their productivity. It has such an effect on children being able to learn, having that stability of housing. It helps people to develop themselves, their religion, and all of these different aspects of their lives. So when it became very paramount that it's so important to me, and I could see the effect of families that are struggling and how when we don't help families that are struggling with homelessness, they kind of are fighting this uphill battle. And it's an uphill battle that they feel lonely. They feel judged at a time in their life when that's the last thing that they need. And essentially that's basically why I got involved. And I was able to see a lot of like-minded people. And it was very neat to realize that a lot of other people have realized that particular problem and are joining hands to make sure that we can at least improve the situation, house more people, make sure that if a family or an individual is struggling, it doesn't have to be for a long time. It doesn't have to be a lifetime. Barriers in housing, getting housing and maintaining housing is something that can be very temporary and it's something fixable. So that was very nice to see. And it's very fun to be involved and be able to work with everyone else that is able to kind of bring these issues to the limelight and work together on improving them.
Well, thank you so much for engaging in this work and taking time out of your busy schedule to share your perspectives and what you're seeing in your community. And thank you to all the advocates for listening.
Thank you very much.